Okay, now before we get into normally I go in order, right? S&P, NASDAQ, and the Russell. But I was going over the expected moves, and I'll pull this up real quick so you guys can see it. Here's the expected moves. The only downside is, okay, for the mobile users, if you have it vertical, this might be small, but it's IWM, QQQ, SPY, Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon, Apple, Google, Ford, Palantir, Intel, and AMD. This is the expected move for the week, again, where market makers do handicap risk. They are even bigger than last week. So not last week, but the week prior, 3 standard deviations down, 1% chance that was going to happen. We almost went 2 standard deviations last week. 95% chance that does not happen. Or 95% chance we don't exceed that. Sorry. Anyway, usually when we surprise the market makers like that, expected moves jump a lot wider. We're pricing in a much wider move, and a lot of times the fireworks are kind of done. It's a very dull week almost. So we broke it again, and the moves are even each week. The expected move has gotten wider, which means we're pricing in a much bigger move. We do have the Fed rate decision this week, but a lot of these are like IWM is usually $5. Last week it was $6. This week it's $7. QQQ is $11. This is up or down, right? They are a neutral delta, so this is not directional bias. SPY, SPY. I don't know why I said it like that. The S&P, $10.42. This is also usually like $6. This is nuts. This kind of makes me want. This kind of makes me want to sell all the options. Like I kind of want to sell all the calls and all the puts. $10.50 out of the money right now on SPY, and just call it. Just because I think, and I talked about this past couple streams. Not to say that it's unprecedented, but the last time we've kind of had moves like this, it was during the Rona, right? When we were just absolutely melting down. Things were getting weird. So it's just kind of wild to see the expected move like that. So here's how it looked last week. 68% chance we stay. Oh, hang on. Let me bring that back. Stay inside this right here. And we got outside. So again, inside, let me just make this wide so you guys can just see it. These 2 lines right here that I draw every Sunday, we stay inside there. As soon as we get outside, it's you, the market movers, and the market makers. Again, it's like a third person jumping on the chessboard. It just adds that extra just sense of volatility in there. And not to be confused with VIX. The VIX is headed down. This is volatility because the market makers don't even know where we're going, which they get all their data from all the options that are purchased and sold. They have all that data, and they say, okay, we're going to delta hedge from here to here. And we should be good. We don't like to do any work. We shouldn't have to do any work. But this is a daily chart right here. We'll call it last week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Hang on. Oh my gosh. I thought we had just week down, week up. So this candle just opened. So that's us right now. As far as the open goes on futures, we are a little bit green. All last week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, gotcha suckers. Drop that thing down and then full send. That's what you call a bear trap. And then just absolutely sent it. Almost the week prior, the exact opposite. 3 standard deviations down, 2 standard deviations up. This is absolutely crazy. That's why I harped on it so much last week of pay attention, pump the brakes. And by pump the brakes, I mean you just take the trade if it makes sense. I buy when it makes sense. I sell when it makes sense. A lot of times when I'm telling you to manage your risk, all that, I'm telling you to dial back your allocation. Because when volatility is high, a lot of people, again, they like to spend the same, and if they're right, they just make more. But I'd like to spend a whole lot less. I'm risking less, but that volatility just might move the needle the exact same amount with not that much on the table. And I like that because when you're wrong, you lose a lot less. But for now, I think I'm expecting Wednesday to sell off. Wednesday should be the rate cut decision. I'm going to pull up my FX book. This is myfxbook.com. I'll just bring it down here. You click economic calendar, and you can color code it. I just took off the green. There's green, yellow, and red, just like the lights that most of you guys are probably in traffic, have no idea what they mean anyway. You might think red and think it's time to go. Anyway, Monday, we have the Empire State Manufacturing Index. Super huge. You're going to see YouTubers talking about this. It's going to be wild. Just kidding. All right. Fed Logan. Wolverine's coming out here. He's going to talk some things. Building permits. We should be okay. Wednesday, Fed interest rate decision, FOMC economic projections, and then we have the Fed conference. So what's going to happen here is they're gonna come out with a report, and then 30 minutes later, it's going to be read to you like a librarian in story time. For those of you guys that can't read, it's going to be 30 minutes later on Wednesday. I typically don't trust the first move. That report's going to come out. It's probably going to send it one way, and then about 30 minutes later, it's going to turn around. Not all the time, but you'd be surprised how many times that does happen. You feel the dollar will weaken when the Feds cut. Absolutely. Okay, so this is now Fed rate decision right now. We're pricing in 25 basis points. It's probably what it's going to be. Powell's not just going to just come unhinged right now and all of a sudden just dump this thing 50 or 75 basis points. A lot of people think he needs to, but a lot of people are not in his position. They don't have the power, so their opinion is irrelevant. And I don't care what anyone's opinion is. All I can worry about is who's got the mic and who's talking. We'll save the opinions for podcasts, right? We care about what's probably going to happen and how can we make that actionable for money. So the reason why I am incredibly short the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, is when you raise the rates, it kind of shows you the economy's strong enough it can support that. And when you lower rates, hey, things are getting weak. Something like I told you guys, like they're not going to just lower rates just for the sake of it, right? Something's got to be broken. There's got to be signs. There's writing on the wall. And Japan's raising the rates while we're dumping ours, and we get to short the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, and Forex, and we get to take both those plays in one trade. I do think I would equate my U.S. dollar, Japanese yen short to what I was telling you guys in 2017 about Tesla. If you guys don't know that, it went from $300 to $7,500. Just saying. It's going to happen again. You're longing the euro. I haven't checked that one out. I like the euro USD, US dollar CAD. I'm actually short US CAD right now. Very little. When I say I am in this thing short, US dollar, Japanese yen, burn that thing to the absolute ground. I'm talking scorched earth because I just want to make millions off of it. Like literally millions. I do want to shout out Ashley Lacken. She sent me another heart puff. Casey sent me, she said, heart me. Ashley gave me a heart to send that out. A heart puff, if you will. Was there a notification at the top of the screen that said heart puff? Anyway, so back on track. No one's going to be doing anything crazy on Tuesday. They're just not. They might be even removing some risk. I kind of expect to buy the rumor, sell the news event. I think this was pricing in the rate cut. We're going to get it, and then I think we're going to pull back. So hopefully Monday and Tuesday kind of gets us to this zone. This is all-time highs. We might even just crack all-time. We could literally cover that tomorrow. And this volatility, all-time highs, nothing. If we hit all-time highs and Wednesday pulls back, I'm probably just going to start buying calls. At the money calls, 2 weeks out on SPY. Now this is Sunday, and then some things need to line up for that to happen. I'm getting ahead of myself saying that. That will be one of the things that I don't want to necessarily walk back later. But if things pan out just right, when we're hitting all-time highs, like back here, every day is all-time highs. Once you get in that cycle, like here's the volatility. Once we're kind of back on that grind up, then you'll hear me talk about so SPY right now, 562. When I buy an options contract, it would be 562, 2 or 3 Fridays out. That's it. I'm just going to let it do its thing. If we have a significant green day, I'll put my stop in the green and I'll trail it. Once you start to trail an options contract, it is probably just going to tag out. That's the reality of that, unless you're just so far up and that stop just remains low. So it's a hard one to kind of I talk about everything I do in advance, and then I do it. Like I showed you guys on my last live stream, I went through Discord and showed you every call out for the last 2 years. We'll play it safe. I think there's 4 losses. I know of 3 for sure, but for the last 2 years, yeah, you know what? We can just add we'll 5 and then we'll double it 10. Let's just pretend there's 10 losses in there for the last 2 years. There Anyway, I talk about all that, and then I do it, and then it pans out. So if you just pay attention, there's I don't know, just pay attention. Don't have to answer any questions, a whole bunch. Anyway, that's why I put that disclaimer, is because if things get weird, the volatility does stay high. Probably not the game you want to be necessarily playing or putting a whole bunch of money in. All right, so as far as the S&P, we have a green open. I am bullish tomorrow. Tuesday, I'm probably going to be with the market makers. Like, man, let's chill out. Because Wednesday is going to be an absolute ghost town, and then everyone's going to wake up, during the rate decision. So Monday, I think we'll be trading full on. I'm bullish. Tuesday, I'm going to be 1 foot out the door, sleeping in Wednesday, and then we're back to the regularly scheduled volatility. I will get these adjusted after the stream. So if you do have my charts, never mind. Let's just do it right now. Let's get this up here. Oh my gosh! All right, here we go. All right, so this is everything last week. IWM $6.57 this week, $7. QQQ 1380. This is a couple weeks ago. I was saying, no, Qs did not go down. SPY 1042. Let's see. Tesla, we got 1348. Let's try that again. All right, this is something I already figured out off screen. I'm just adding it to the screen now. 1755. Microsoft 1158. Nvidia, what are we talking about? 706. First of all, who's following the account that I post all the trades in? Whew. Are you kidding me with Nvidia? We sold the 118s last week. I'm like, we'll play it safe. Are you out of your mind? And then it shoots up like that to 119 or something crazy? Anyway, I'm in the 118s again, so I collected another week's worth of premium. A couple $100. If I'm not crazy. Should be a couple hundred. We did well on that. What an absolute joke, though. We collected scraps thinking it'll be safe, and then it just sends it. I almost nailed it, too, but not the kind I want. I don't want to be in management mode every week. I want to just sell worthless options contracts to gamblers. Intel 105. AMD 796. All right. So I put that indicator up because it'll pull the data, and that's why I put these lines here. I just match it real quick. And then I'll turn the indicator off. Let me just add these real quick, and then we'll rock and roll. Man, little Russell. He was rocking. Oh. Who's bullish Tesla this week? I won't ban you if you say you're not. Just know that the thought will go through my mind. Just